your skull as a bull who never will sell his souls, who is stoking the coals of hell, cannot be controlled. Who goes out on the grassy knoll for anything strong? The world-famous Comedy Store does not endorse nor condone the words of we three trolls, but why would they? They're a bunch of conformists. We three trolls! We three trolls! We three trolls! We three trolls!
Are we on?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, there you go. We're getting right into it.
Shit, yeah, we are. We don't waste any time, Earl. Earl Skakel's here again.
Part two.
Part
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
We had a lot of
back.
unfinished business. This is kind of like Rambo Part 2.
Yeah. I mean, I know the first one was about roast battle, but although I'm sure that will be mentioned
Ad nauseum?
for a hot second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have lots of other
This
questions.
is like the Charlie Sheen version, though. What was
No,
that
dude,
movie
no,
called?
this
Part
is-
two.
This is the
Hot Shots.
This
Yeah,
is
Hot
the
Shots.
Charlie Rose version. We're gonna get deep into your filmography.
Well, that'll
'Cause-
take a few minutes.
Yeah. Hey, you're the voice of a cartoon.
Yeah,
we
the Jellies.
we never even brought that up at the last podcast. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's I think it's the #1 cartoon right now on Adult Swim.
Wow.
It's called The Jellies.
Sick.
by
So you
Tyler.
guys are beating out King of the Hill reruns?
I don't watch cartoons, to be honest with you, so I don't know who's #2. I'll assume it's Bob's Burgers. And, I mean, I don't know what else is.
But they don't make Bob's Burgers, do they? Isn't that...
I don't know. I know nothing about cartoons.
yeah.
This is my
Yeah.
first one.
You don't know anything about cartoons? You read comic books?
I mean, I like Superman movies, like with Christopher Reeve. I liked,
Mhm.
but I don't have the patience to read. I'm a visual person, so reading a comic it just doesn't do it for me.
There's visuals in it, though.
Oh, I know there's
Yeah,
like
there's
really
pictures.
nice drawing, but I mean, I need like to see the explosion on my 85-inch plasma.
Oh, hell
feel
yeah.
you.
Hell yeah. You want to see the sweat dripping off of Bruce Willis's face.
Yeah, and like I need to see it. I don't want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a visual person. Like, although I don't like the current like Godzilla movies and stuff like that. It's too much visualness.
Yeah, it all peaked in 1982.
It's lost
whichever
its
one-
novelty.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, because it happens every summer 10 times, these stupid movies.
But if you look at like the action, like if you look at the first Rocky, the fight scenes were so realistic because they were actually hitting each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They were both horribly racist,
Who?
just like the movie said they
Rocky?
were. Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
We lived in South Philly. You
Yeah.
can't be racist and live in South Philly.
Is that
and look
right?
like Stallone.
Yeah.
Uh,
I bet still the reason
you
why.
can't?
Yeah.
well, you
It doesn't
can.
make you that way?
You won't live long.
That's what I was going to say.
But who else was racist? Apollo wasn't racist.
Oh, that no one was racist. I'm just kidding. But they did try to pit a black guy versus a white guy. That was the premise of like 3 of those fucking movies.
Well, it was South Philly.
Yeah. Fair enough. So how did a Russian dude get into the mix?
Well, they had to have the rematch with Apollo in the second one, which
Mhm.
I like better than the first Rocky.
Oh, yeah?
Because there was more of a storyline of Apollo knowing he didn't really beat Rocky in the first one, so he's chasing him. And
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have had a little bit more of Apollo in Rocky too, just because it's a great story, his story. And then Rocky, not wanting to fight and wanting to just be married, and then
Yeah.
he beat him, and I just liked it better. The first Rocky's great, but it just moved a little slow for me.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about Rocky? Is it Rocky 3 with the Russian dude?
No, Rocky
No,
3
that's
was Clubber
Mr.
Lang.
T.
Mr. T.
Yeah,
Oh, hell
Clubber Lang.
yeah.
But it fit, 1983 wrestling was just taking off. Hulk Hogan was in the movie. His
Mhm.
Thunder Lips.
Yeah.
And Mr. T's
that was
awesome.
that was my nickname in high
I
school.
love Mr. T.
He was a great bad guy in that. You really hated him. Which goes to me seeing, and then Rocky 4 was Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
Jesus, I thought there was only one Rocky.
No, there's
Shut
7.
up.
God.
There's a whole
And-
slew.
Really 9 if you count the Creed,
Mm.
not sequels, I guess, but the Creed spinoffs. And then I want to see a movie with Paulie's kid because that guy had to be fucked up, you know.
Right.
You know, Paulie was like the drunk, scheming, fat friend of Stallone. Like that guy's kid must have been like,
It'd be a very different movie. It would just be him breaking into cars and shit.
Yeah.
And getting
There-
drug money.
there wouldn't be one boxing scene. It'd be a Columbine giving the kids bullets.
Yeah.
I keep it real.
Hey, Earl.
Hey, Joseph.
I heard a rumor, and I couldn't
Uh-oh.
confirm this on IMDb, that you were in a show, a TV show as a kid called The White Shadow.
No, it's my favorite show of all time.
Oh, even weirder. How do you even? Okay, wow.
What
Wait.
is that show?
It's about basketball.
But basketball was the backdrop.
Okay.
You know, it's like, you know, The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds.
Mhm.
It's technically a football movie, but football is just the backstory of basically the prisoners and the cons interactions. But The White Shadow was like an ensemble version of All in the Family.
Mm-hmm.
They covered rape, abortion. One episode.
Sold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but
When
it
did this
was
air?
it
In the
aired, only aired for
70s.
3 years from
Oh.
79 to 81, and it was on CBS, which made, you know, back then there was 3 TV
Yeah.
stations. So the fact that they could air something like this on Monday nights on 8 o'clock prime time, you know, it was a groundbreaking show. Like, and so many people from the show ended up being huge directors. Like,
Mhm.
if you've watched the show, Thorpe, who was the little point guard with glasses, he's a huge director now. Salami directed most of the Soprano episodes, and
Sick.
so just an amazing cast of talent. And Gwyneth Paltrow's dad created it.
Yeah, and then he did St. Elsewhere after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
yeah.
a great, I think it's season 4 of St. Elsewhere. Coolidge, who was the center in The White Shadow, he was an orderly on St. Elsewhere.
Oh hell yeah, Eric LaSalle.
No. He wasn't like the main one, but he was in like every episode. I think there's a scene where the elevator opens up and
Mhm.
Coolidge turns around and it's Salami,
Oh sick.
and Coolidge is like Salami, and Salami looks at him and goes, "You got the wrong guy, pal." It's just, if you watch The White Shadow, you geek
Mhm.
out. But it was a really innovative show for that. Nowadays it would be tame, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's
Yeah,
like
the-
so
only
many-
only one abortion? That's what people would say nowadays.
But it was
Yeah.
like a drama, or
It was a
it's-
drama thrown in with comedy. Like there was one episode where there was this high school star who couldn't read, but he was a great basketball player, so they had him on the team.
It was
he
based
won.
That's
on
a
my
comedy
story.
part.
Yeah. And there was one, I cry every time I see this episode. If it was airing right now, I would be crying. There was an autistic kid who
Wanted to be a stand-up comedian, so
Yeah.
he came here.
and did roast battle.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Hello. And it's nobody knows what's wrong with him, and the team, because they're so young, they just think he's stupid.
Mhm.
So they make fun of him, and they, you know, like they throw the basketball at him really hard and hits him in the face, and he doesn't react. He just stands there. And then at the end of the show, they realize that there's something not normal about him. So they give him the ball, and he makes a shot. I'm telling you, man, it's gives me I'm welling up right now just talking about it.
Oh.
Earl has feelings.
I do, you know. That's you
You
know,
don't let people inside, though.
not up at the
Mm.
comedy store.
Yeah. Yeah, but if we saw Earl outside of the comedy store, he'd be a different dude.
Oh, I cry when I watch Son of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because there's that scene where and you know, looking back, I don't even know, it's not animation, but whatever what is that called?
He's just in a
Puppetry.
big suit, isn't he?
He is, but the little kid, like he had these little arms and big
Mhm.
belly and these big eyes, and Godzilla was trying to teach him how to blow the smoke,
Mhm.
and he couldn't get it. Every time he would do it, like little smoke ring would come out. So finally, Godzilla whacks him over the head with his tail, and he does it. Like he's a very abusive father. Godzilla.
Yeah.
But at the end,
Who'd have suspected that?
yeah, well, I mean, I can't wait to see Mrs. Godzilla. I mean, she had to pork the guy. But at the end, they beat up the bad monster and they walk off, and it's snowing, and Godzilla's holding his son's hand. I'm telling you.
You
Now-
start bawling.
Yeah.
On your with your 85-inch TV.
Well, now I jack off to it, but
It's a lot.
I'm jealous of Godzilla's son.
I'm
My father didn't do jack fucking shit for me. I didn't know how to set fires until I was like 18 years old.
Yeah.
Had to learn that in fucking reform school.
well, it's so hot in this podcast room. I think that fire might be starting. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it
I
is
know,
fucking
it's-
hot.
I
It's
know
pretty
this-
steamy.
I know
There's
this-
already dudes in here before us, so it's got
Mhm.
the hot dude smell.
Yeah, it smells
I
like
forgot
Tori
to put deodorant
Spelling
on
in
too,
here.
so you guys are fucked right now.
Well, they finally cut down on the number of podcasts here. I mean, for a while, it was like Boone Shakalaka was going to have a podcast.
Yeah, it's true.
Called T-Cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are the survivors, though. There's not many who withstood the
barely,
purge.
barely
they've
survived.
tried.
They've
Yeah.
tried many times.
They've tried 5 times that I know about.
Yeah.
That's many times.
You and the wrestling podcast, I think, are the lone. Well, I'm sure Tripoli has a. He must have
He
a.
has, like,
Well, he
there's
still has
10
8.
down
Yeah, he
here.
has 8 down here still, but 2 of them got axed.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he still has 8 of them down here somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
The tinfoil.
I think
what's
he
it
does
called?
that somewhere else. The tinfoil hat, I think he does somewhere else.
Oh yeah, we won't mention that network.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
bleep that.
I think Conspiracy Now or something is down here.
I don't even know what network it's on, but
All
It's
things
not on
comedy.
this one. That's all I need to know.
So when you do the recording for that show, do you go in every week? Do you write on it? Like,
I would
What's
love
the
to write
process?
on it, but I'm probably not qualified. I mean, they have some amazing. Hugh Moore.
Oh, hell yeah, we know Hugh
Yeah.
Moore.
He is.
Fuck yeah.
He's a writer slash, I guess, creative consultant. I'm not on his level as a writer. And Carl Jones, who did a lot of Boondock Saints,
Okay.
and he's very heavily involved in a lot of Adult Swim cartoons. Well, the first 2 seasons, it's a weird thing. It's like there's 3 seasons, 2 on Adult Swim, 1 on Tyler the Creator's phone app.
Mhm.
So I don't know how it got to Adult Swim. I'm assuming they said, hey, if you the first season on this phone app was pretty crazy. Like,
yeah.
like I have a crazy sense of humor, and
Right.
even I was like, oh man, I have to say that. Like, we did that in some guy's house, but you just would go into this guy's recording studio. I'd go in alone. There'd, be a couple people there in the booth, and then first season was like that on Adult Swim, but this season I liked it. You're in the booth with whoever you're in the scene with.
Oh, that's cool. I was wondering that. I'm like, do you just do it on your own? You do the voices or what? Like,
I mean, yeah,
this
and
time it was with somebody else. In the
yeah,
scene.
it's like if
Okay.
I had a scene with my son Phil Lamar, who's like a voiceover legend, like he's in everything, and my daughter, who's a rapper in real life, Kylo Kish,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife is AJ. The first time we did a scene together, I walked into the booth and they thought I was like the sound engineer, and they're like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "I'm Barry. I'm your dad." And they're like, "You're white." I'm like, "Well, you're black."
Yeah.
So just it was crazy because I have a black sounding voice. If you don't, know who I am, which is basically all of Hollywood.
Well, you kind of have a black dick too. Just
I mean,
to
it's big
say.
enough.
So I think that's where
It's
it's
big
coming
enough.
it's big enough to leave a smile on their face.
From. Do you still show your phone around the room with your?
No,
dick
I
or-
I had a situation that changed my life forever.
Is it a Me Too?
Yeah.
Are you
Uh,
serious?
Well, you know what, and I'm comfortable enough to tell the story now because I think I'm out of the danger zone. But you know how it is late night.
It is.
Yeah,
Well, that's why it's fun.
But in the OR, they pick a comic on who they want to walk on. It's got nothing to do with them.
Mhm.
It's just late.
Yeah.
It's okay. We've seen Delia, Theo, Joe. We don't really know Earl. We'll give him 1 minute, and he better get us or we're walking. And one night Ryan O'Neal was on stage and he was killing. I don't remember what he was doing, but he was killing. I'm like, fuck, I got 30 seconds to keep him. And he gave me a nice intro, and I just I was like, hey, who in this room wants to see my dick pic? And because I knew everyone would stay, and then everyone raised their hand, and so I pulled out my dick pic. I pass my phone around the room, and it was literally like they were taking the collection cup at church, and they'd look at it, pass it to the next.
It's like show and tell.
Yeah, and so it killed. I mean, like people started coming into the room, and
Yeah, to see Earl's dick.
and then I did the Buffalo Bill impression, which is a great way to close the show, because I was nervous. Not only was Ryan O'Neal killing, but I had my friends from Slash's band. You know, Slash just Guns N'
The
Roses.
Snake Pit.
No, it's 3 names.
I saw Slash's Snake Pit.
So I bet you did.
Let's show off.
It's
Bragging.
Miles Kennedy featuring Slash and the Conspirator. No, Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators.
Okay.
The Conspirators were in the room, so I was like, I don't want to bomb in front of my friends, and so I was like, oh, I'll do Buffalo Bill to close it out, and I do Buffalo Bill. I think Eric Oligny pulled up the music. Of course, he would have it right on his phone, and it never has not killed. In the deadest of rooms, that bit kills.
Yeah.
Because I just hide behind the curtain. You know, I wait for the music to hit, and then I poke my head out like I'm putting on lipstick, and I'm like, oh, wait, is she a great big fat person? Would you fuck me? And then I disrobe, and I do the tuck, and
Wow, this is real. You did
it
this.
kills. And then the
I've
big,
seen it. Yeah.
the
seen it in
big
the belly.
finale is I turn around and I act like I dropped something. So still tucked, I bend over and pick up like my keys or whatever, and you can clearly see everything.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, standing ovation. Literally, the whole room stayed standing ovation, which is unheard of at that hour at the store.
Absolutely.
And then I got a message from a person on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to sue the club. I'm going to sue you. You basically said something like you sexually harassed me. And
Jesus.
it was weird because I knew everyone in the room. So I was like, okay, who would do this? And, you know, there's a couple suspects. I still don't know who did it. And then someone from the store called me and said, hey, do you know this person? I'm like, yeah, I got a message from them today, but I don't know who they are. And they're saying you whipped your dick out and rubbed it up against somebody, which I never left the stage. So I did not.
Yeah, but your dick's pretty big. It could have hit someone.
It
Yeah,
could
that's
have.
true.
The guy in the front row, maybe. And then I got a few more messages from this person, and I'm like, you know, they were kind of dragging it on. I'm like, okay, if this is really serious, they would have done something by now. And then about a week later, I guess they had sent 2 emails to the Comedy Store saying they're going to sue the club, sue me if they ever book me again. And I'm like, for like a week, I was like, my career's over. Like, you know, I'm off
Jesus.
the cartoon. I'm off. You know, I mean, they and I would understand. You'd have to fire me from every gig I'd have. I mean, if I'm dying up here, got picked up, which it didn't, but I would have been kicked off of that. Roast battle, if I ever did that again, I would have been kicked off of that. And then it just kind of disappeared. They, you know, when push came to shove and all right, we're going to sue, they just disappeared. So,
You think it was a prank?
I mean, I guess it was, but
I think it's somebody trying to get money, you know?
well, I mean,
I don't understand what their case actually.
well,
would
I
be.
guess you could.
You're
I mean,
a performer. Like people down the street, people take their clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people are just hurling money at them.
yeah, I mean,
like-
I mean, in this day and age of sexual harassment and you know, Me Too situations, they probably could just throw it out there, and but you know, it's pretty scary. So I don't do that anymore. It's the long.
Aw, that
know.
fucking
Wha-
bitch.
I mean,
no free speech anymore.
Damn.
You can't let them win, Earl.
But I mean, in this day and age, you know, I would understand if the Comedy Store or any club would be like, hey, dude, we love you, but like,
Late night at the Comedy Store, you can't even do.
Well, that's the
what
whole
you
point,
want.
right? They let everybody do whatever the hell they want on stage. That's kind of like what the Comedy Store is known for.
yeah, well, it could have
Yeah.
been another comic, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
sure I
think
knew.
it was a
It was just
prank.
bad timing, I think, probably with the I almost said we three trolls with the Me Too movement, because even like people that it was just like a guy hitting on you. They're like, oh, he always hits on me. Yeah, so what? You're a girl. Guys are gonna hit on you.
Mhm.
There's gonna come a day when they don't want to hit on you, and it's gonna be real sad.
It's gonna be way worse.
It's gonna be
yeah.
way worse, and you're gonna be like, why did I complain about that?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that's the only thing. I think that shit passed though.
You know,
think it's
I
all
have to
good.
tell you, when I take my dick out, no one complains.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a different situation if I took it out.
Have you done it on stage?
No, fuck no. I'm not crazy like Earl is.
But you'll see when you get past here, you will.
Next week?
Well, I mean, you have to talk to the man about that. But like when you
Oh.
get past here, you're probably, unless you're on a TV show, you're going to be going on second to last to Barris, or maybe third to last. I mean, it's tough. Last night I went on and it was tough. Like, it's humbling to go on toward the end of the show, because the crowd's dead. Sometimes they're not, but usually they're just, we've heard everything.
Yeah.
We've seen Joe Rogan, we've seen Jeselnik, we've seen Ron White, we've seen Joey Diaz, we've seen Theo Von.
Mhm.
Like, what are you going to say that they haven't?
Yeah.
As a comic, though, it's fun to watch those sets too, because you get to see like your friends working on shit that's hard.
Oh, it's
You know
made
what I
me
mean?
stronger.
Like they're working on the hardest shit you have to do.
Well, you have to be good, because if I don't think you could put a weak comic up in that situation. Like, you have to have a toolbox of tricks to go, okay, they're not into the dirty humor, I got to go clean. Or usually it's the other way around. But like, there are some audiences don't necessarily like dirty jokes, so you better have some clean jokes to do whatever. Or if there's a lot of, it's like, say there's a bunch of Jewish kids in the room, they've got the yarmulkes on, and you've got, some of your funniest jokes are like, could be viewed as anti-Semitic, or you better not do those jokes. So you have to really like be a strong comic to follow Rogan and Diaz, and like, they're going to hit all the topics of the day. So you better hit them with something that's unique that'll make them want to go, okay. That's why I like joking about Rat and all the 80s metal bands. It's so unique that they stay usually, and go, okay, this guy's talking about shit I don't care about. I wasn't even born when these bands were playing. But they'll stay. All right, I'll give them a shot, versus doing a Trump joke or talking about Tender or whatever.
Yeah, thank you for not doing any Trump jokes.
Well, I mean,
As a comedy fan, I appreciate that.
well,
I
you
can't
have to. He's
listen
so
to
insane.
it anymore.
He's so insane, but
I guess, but all of them are insane. It doesn't matter who's in charge. They're all fuck. I mean, like Earl, you and I, we're extremely wealthy, good-looking people. All right, we're a cut above the working man.
The plebs.
well, I
But
am.
Even as cool and rich and successful as we are, we're still like nowhere near billionaire level president stuff.
Oh no,
Like they're never gonna hook us up. They
What-
think we're scum. Even me and you.
But you get a cartoon or two on the air, and you start writing, and you create it. You can be very wealthy overnight in this business. That's
Okay.
what keeps everyone going.
It's true.
You look at podcasting. I mean, if you get like one big sponsor, who's into what you guys are doing.
Flesh-
Thanks,
Fleshlight.
Jeff Ross.
Fleshlight.
But yeah,
He took all our money.
I mean, Fleshlight. I mean, I remember. I know we aren't going to talk about Roast Battle a lot, but like Roast Battle started with Josh Martin and Kenny Lyon
Mm-hmm.
in an empty room, basically saying "F you, no F you," and Moses saying, "You guys can't fight. Why don't you do this?" And now it's 4 seasons on TV. It's got a UK show, a Canada show, Mexico show. I think something's going on. South Africa has it. It's all because
How
of
bad was Josh Martin at I mean, he's the worst at comebacks.
well,
Hey,
he's
I can see your dick. I'm like, okay.
he did
thanks.
one I guess a bit. Well, I guess that was.
Do you
in the-
remember it? Like the first battle?
I don't.
I think I was at it.
it was
I
very.
I might have been at the one where they got into the fight, and yeah, because it was just a normal open mic back when it
Well,
first started.
Stephanie Simbari had an open mic. It wasn't very good, and that's not because of Stephanie. It's just
No, it was Tuesday night. No one went
Tuesday
to
night.
it. Yeah.
No one went to the store on a Tuesday night then. And then I don't know exactly how it happened, but I believe Moses might have reached out to her and said, "Hey, do you mind if I take it over? Or,
Mhm.
if you're sick of maybe she reached out to him." And then it's crazy though. Like, that's why I never shit on anyone's idea of, well, hey, I've got this idea. Because if you think about Roast Battle as an idea, it's like, all right, well, there's roasting on TV, but Moses tweaked it enough where it is kind of an original art.
Mhm.
It's never been done on TV that I know of before. So that's why any idea I hear, I'm like, oh yeah, just keep at it. you know, I mean, I have a friend of mine who's pitching something right now that's never been done before. It's so simple, it's never been done before. And, you know, I don't piss on anyone's, you know, script or idea. I mean, all it takes is one person to believe it.
Yeah.
So,
Very
I mean, it
true.
sounds very like Tony Robbins bullshit.
No, it's true.
But, you know, with Roast Battle, the whole industry passed on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they wouldn't say that now, but I remember the first year, you had every network. You could just tell on their faces it was, no one's going to want to watch two open micers who nobody knows do inside jokes about who they fucked. And even today, while hiking Runyon, I saw Russell Simmons. But it's he came up one day to watch Roast Battle, and I believe I was told after he saw it, he's like, well, let's ditch the comics and let's have rappers do it. And he wanted to get, I believe the plan.
Isn't that just a rap battle?
Yeah, that sounds like Eminem's.
They already
8
have
Mile.
that.
Well, they have that. They have, what's the Wild and Out?
Well, Russell Simmons is a vegan, so he's not getting enough nutrients to his brain.
Yeah.
He's not getting enough fats and omegas.
I can get him some protein.
He was,
Yeah.
Russell Simmons, come over here.
Yeah.
Russell Simmons presents We Three Trolls.
Yeah.
But who knows, dude? He might go,
Maybe.
I like these three crazy white people. Like, you know, it's funny. Like, but that particular time he saw Roast Battle, I went nuts with the zingers, the racial zingers. Like, I forget what I said, but I went pretty. I didn't cross the line, but I was on it, and I better go apologize to Russell Simmons.
Wow.
So like, hey, Mr. Simmons, it's just a character, you know. I'm sorry, and he just pulls me and goes, "You were my favorite part."
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Awesome. That's excellent. That's the way it should be.
Well, Roast Battle should give anyone hope that their idea could make it. Like,
Mhm.
just to get it in front of the right people. And, you know, I mean, my podcast is relatively successful. I can't tell you how many times because my thing was, I want to get people from the 80s, interview them, just because it was a little unique. And people were like, no one's going to want to listen to an interview with the guy from Superman 2.
Mm.
But they did. Because it's like, oh, this guy's never done a podcast before. You know, it's like, you know, so you get these.
It's hard to predict, and people in in positions are always thinking that because some of the things they involve themselves with hit, that they had something to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they always feel like they have some sort of premonition, but I think they're just guessing, like everybody.
Well, I don't think Russell Peters told me that Earl, because I was bummed out. I didn't get, I think, Montreal one year. I was like, dude, they don't even know what they want. You know, they see something successful, then they're okay. We'll do that. You know, so it's a shame the way, you know, the business is run. But you know, with podcasts, YouTube, you can make it on your own now. You almost don't even need. I mean, I was in the last 2 years on 4 different networks, 4 different TV shows, no management.
Wow.
So, and I don't say that like brag, because you know 3 of the shows got canceled, and
It's possible.
but
No.
you know, it is. I mean, it helps to have a manager because they are the bad guy for you in situations when you need it. You know, like my situation with Roast Battle, like I would have loved to have a manager. Just go, hey, can we do this for Earl instead of that? You know, so
Yeah.
but you can make it now without a manager or representation by doing something like this. You guys don't have any representation, do you? Anyone?
No.
So, but yet your podcast will be heard tomorrow morning with Joe Rogan's.
That's true.
You know,
It's
or
true.
Bill Burr's or Tr0lls or whoever. So it's a great equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
But the negative is anyone can do it. You could have a
Yeah.
homeless person start a podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, I would probably listen to that too. I need to learn about
Yeah.
the enemy.
They steal that homeless camp that's now on Sunset by the Sunset Ralphs, the Rock and Roll
Rock
Ralphs.
and roll rounds.
There's like 2 tent cities now.
Mhm.
One of those could steal an H4n recorder, 2 mics from Guitar Center.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen, but that's the downfall of
Mhm.
the ease of making it on
They
your
could
own.
call it Crack Watch.
Mm-hmm.
I would listen to it.
I would listen to the shit out of it,
Yeah, me
man.
too.
Boone did have a podcast, and I didn't listen to it, but I did go read all the descriptions of each episode.
The Booncast.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Boonecast.
Yeah,
And
he's
there's also some mystery. Who was doing the Boonecast with Boone?
Dan Bilak.
Okay, I was saying Boone doesn't know how to do that shit on his own, right?
I don't think
no.
I know Dan.
He used to be he wasn't a paid regular, but he was like like in the dark days of the Comedy Store, mid-2000s, he was a very popular figure up here. A very funny guy.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, he wasn't passed by Tommy, so I think he just started his own show called 12 Shiny Nickels,
Yeah,
which was a very
that's
popular.
been going on forever.
That's his show, I think, unless he gave it to someone else. And he's very technologically savvy, so I think he was in the podcast front before most people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
actually, me and Tripoli were we might have started one of the first podcasts with Joe Bartnick, and we had a good-looking Canadian guy. And we would talk sports in the bottom of Barney's Beanery.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
But this was like 15 years ago. It was
Yeah.
essentially
Oh,
a
nice.
live pod. It was this.
So you just record
Yeah.
the whatever you guys were talking about.
Yeah, but the guy was a moron who was our producer, but he was the only one who knew how to work the gear, and he wasn't very good.
He was the Red Band.
I wish he was Red Band. I'd be a millionaire if he was Red Band.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, I don't think Red Band gets
All right,
enough.
so he's Red Band with no skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no, Red Band got skills.
Oh my!
I don't want it
God.
to sound like I was being insulting. No, he
Oh no!
does all that stuff.
Red
Yeah,
Band
he's the man,
basically
dude.
started the industry, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
'cause-
started the Rogan, then he did Your Mom's House.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why they call their new guy, their sound guy, Blue Band. You know,
I didn't know that Red Band was part of that one too.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah.
started-
Good
helped
for
him start
him.
that.
when I did, it's the only time I've done it was at. I think they did it at Red Band's house, and well, I don't want to say where, but like in the valley.
Death Valley.
So he's. I don't think.
1703.
They live at
uh,
Spawn
Mariposa.
Ranch. Spawn Ranch. If anyone out there is a Charlie Manson head, you'll know what we're talking about.
So, yeah, I mean, I wish. I mean, it's crazy how like it really was a podcast, and just I think we gave up after like 2 years.
Mhm.
I think we'd meet every Thursday at Barney's Beanery. Tripoli would get these bimbos to come on to be like sports reporters.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How does
It's
he have-
hilarious.
How does he have all this access to these porno ladies?
But this girl, I forget.
Cocaine?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to do porn, but I'll take the cocaine part.
She was like a Maxim model, but she was actually pretty. She knew her sports, so it's
Mhm.
like this is everything we need. We got
Yeah, it's
three
that
guys who
dream.
know sports. We got a good-looking Canadian guy who was like our straight guy, and then a hot broad with big jugs. I mean, just the producer guy was like, I don't know, it just wasn't. We were too
Couldn't deliver it.
ahead of the time.
Mm.
It's really, but it just goes to show you how close you could be to, like, if that show had Red Band or someone like him, we'd be doing what like Impractical Jokers does. We'd all four be playing theaters and stuff. So,
Mm.
Who?
Timing, man.
Oh,
Timing is
absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
So-
Who was here when you first got here? Like who I mean, I actually don't even know. Did you start here?
Well, I came up here one night, and
What year?
this is so long ago. I honestly don't remember, but I want to say it was around 2000.
Okay.
And I walk in the back stairwell to the OR.
Was Jason Teeb still drinking Jack and Cokes at the front bar?
He was.
Bumming cigarettes and shit? Or?
He was not. There was other. There were
He
people.
was drinking vodka tonics
At that
then,
time, yeah,
okay?
for sophisticated.
There were people before Tebow and Allegheny, and Brody was hosting, and this kid from La Jolla was bombing bad. But
Yeah.
back then, there really was no bombing in that room. It
Yeah.
was just performing. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, I used to see Sebastian play in front of like 8 people and struggle.
Oh, God.
Nothing to do with him. It's just like the crowd was.
Mhm.
What day of the week was it? Sorry.
Well,
did
this
you say-
was it was either a Sunday or a Monday. I think it was a Sunday night, and Brody was hosting, and this kid
He was hosting potluck?
Yeah.
No fool.
But back
Oh,
then,
nice.
you had people like Bobby Lee hosting.
Mhm.
Like the first time I did potluck, Bobby Lee hosted.
Wow, holy
Uh,
shit.
20 years
Awesome.
ago almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who were like Rick Ingram, I think, was hosting back then. Danish and O'Neill, and so this kid in La Jolla, he's doing horrible, just bombing bad, even for that era. And he leaves the stage, and Brody is like, and I don't do a good Brody impression, but he's like, "Where are you from, kid?" And the kid, like, really meekly was like, "La Jolla." And Brody was like, "Well, that drive just got a lot longer." And the kid ran out crying.
Oh, man.
then
Poor
this-
kid.
The next comic was John Little, the legend of John Little. And John's on there doing about a minute in, and he's not doing great, but nobody was that night. And Brody's on the side mic trying to pick up on this girl next to him, and it's pretty loud. And where are you from? Oh, I went to Reseda High, Coach Valduzo, and and Little just looks at him and just drops the mic and storms off. And Brody was like, "Where are you going? You got to be professional." And John was like, "I'll be professional when you shut up and start paying me." And I just remember going, "I don't think I'm ready for this place." And then I think I went back maybe a couple weeks later, and Bobby Lee, was the host, and I just said, "I'm going to do open mics elsewhere. I'm not ready for this energy." It was so evil up here.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
It was beyond anything you can imagine. Like, I'm underplaying the evilness that was up here. Like, people go and see a roast battle and think, "Wow, this show's edgy." The whole club was like roast battle. Like, and the hosts were incredibly mean. Like James Painter, who was an iconic figure at the Comedy Store, he brought up this one guy named Andrew Solomson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know who that dude is.
And at the time, Andrew was
How do you get up there?
he was pretty heavy. Like, he was probably at 350,
Jesus.
maybe. I think he had a thyroid condition or something, but he was a very, very big dude. Not quite Ralphie May size, but
Your thyroids are in your gut?
right. And Painter's intro to him, and Andrew would read his jokes usually off his Palm Pilot. This shows you how long ago it is, a Palm Pilot. And Painter was like, "Well, if you like boring fat guys who read their jokes off their Palm Pilot, you're going to love this guy."
Oh my God.
And the crowd's like, "What the fuck?"
So evil.
And he wouldn't shake his hand. He would just, and it was just like, but that was what was going on.
Shake Solomson's hand?
No, he'd be like,
God damn.
and
God
So
damn.
cold.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
cold
vicious.
as.
and then Andrew
Yeah.
would go up, and he's a pretty funny guy, but he didn't do well that night. I mean, who could with that intro?
Yeah.
How
But
many
then-
minutes were
I mean,
they
the-
doing?
Oh,
Even the
5,
audience
yeah.
feels that, They're like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, and
They're doing
then-
that to each other. What are they going to do to us?
Yeah.
Like,
And then
yeah.
Solomson gets off stage, and of course it takes a while, and Painter just looks into the mic and goes, "I told you." So that's like, and that was for every comic unless they really liked you.
Okay.
So
They just take a huge shit on you
Yeah,
before, you get,
just-
before and after you got.
this next guy works at Starbucks, so after he bombs here, you can get a latte from him. It was just brutal. So I wasn't quite ready because I didn't really know a lot of people at the store. I knew nobody. So I was like, I'm going to go to Mike's and, work it out there before I come back.
See, but here's the funny part. Where'd you go start a mic? The Liquid Zoo? One of
Liquid
the
Zoo.
other hardest
Yeah.
rooms in the world.
Oh, I started before there there was a place in the valley called McRed's,
Mm.
and now it's a Walgreens, but it was a brutal open mic. It was in not a very good part of Valley Village.
Used to be my playground. Used to be. While you're picking up meds.
Oh my! I drive by it every now and then to reminisce.
Oh,
but-
God.
But it was a good room because like people like Ian Bagg would come in to do his Tonight Show set, and, like
Oh,
so you had people like
nice.
I mean that taught me, wow, if Ian's here, I'm not too good for this room or
Mhm.
any other open mic.
That's a big effect because I always take notice of that too.
Yeah.
When I was at a mic and I'm like, oh fuck, that guy is in here.
Yeah, it's
I got to do this for a long time.
like I did that room in the alley off of it's behind a Food for Less, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
And a
Victor-
garage mic.
Yeah, and
I
you know,
done it too.
I mean, it's a horrible room, but and I'm not saying I'm on Ian Bagg's level because I'm not, but I could tell when I went down there maybe a year ago, like everyone stepped up their game. Like, oh, here's this paid regular at the store. If he's here, maybe it is a good room or whatever. And then I, bombed for about 7 minutes in front of Mystery Dan. So, I mean,
I
Yeah.
wish Mr. Dan was History Dan.
I
Get
think
lost.
he's Bathhouse Dan now.
He's gay as shit.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing that's kind of fascinating about him because I didn't really.
Yeah.
He didn't ping me at first. I got a pretty good gaydar, I think. Everyone's gay, by the way. I didn't think Mr. Dan was gay, but he's hella gay.
Mhm.
Gay as shit.
But there's a market for guys who look like him. Like, you know, they're called chicken hawks. When you live in the gay community for 20 years, you know the terms. You know, there's bean queens. That's
okay.
for-
Now, okay, stop. What's that?
bean queens are older gay guys who love young Mexican boys.
Oh my God.
I guess it's self-explanatory.
And there's rice queens, which is, you know, older guys who like young Asians. And then there's bears, which are, you know.
Jeff's a rice queen. He likes the young Asians.
Yeah, Jeff Scott.
Yeah,
I
he
would
loves
say
the young Asians.
Jeff Scott would probably like, yeah, he'd be a rice queen and maybe a twink. He seems like he would like young boys. I mean, like legally.
Okay.
Or people who look young, like a Matt Edgar, who's not gay, but like Matt Edgar's like this good-looking kind of clean-cut comic, you know. And then there's people who like, you know, guys who look like me. I'm an otter. In the gay community, I would be an otter, which is an in-shape bear.
Sick.
You know, bears would be like Mike Black, who's a bigger guy.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's I know way too much.
Well, you
about it.
have a nice body, Mike Black. I love you, but yeah, he's overweight.
But like your man TB,
Yeah,
would be
he'd be a bear.
he'd be an otter because
An otter, yeah.
he's like, you know, in shape or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, heavier shape.
No,
Like
I'd
Ralph.
be a bear.
You're in between. You're like, I don't know. You'd be like a sea lion.
A cub.
Uh,
Am I a cub?
Like
I guess I'm not young.
Ralphie May would be the whole zoo. I love you, Ralphie. Dude, Ralph.
I can't stop thinking about this. So this Taylor told me this. He's like, there was a show going around, like a live show. He might have been lying to me, where guys were taking their balls and their dick and making animals, like, you know, like
Oh yeah, puppetry of the penis.
yeah, that's a real thing.
I auditioned for it.
You did?
Yeah, they made you do
How
three
did
characters.
you get in trouble by being on stage? I mean, I know you're
Well,
not
no,
in trouble.
I mean,
but
this
I'm
was
just saying.
well, this was long before me too. This was a show where it was like basically balloon art with your dick and balls. Like you could
Was
really.
it creative?
I was. I did the wristwatch. I did the apple, which if you grab your balls and squeeze them, and you know they.
Taylor has about 20 down. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I was like, can you please stop doing that? He's like, this
Well-
used to go on the road.
It's not visually
He did the
appealing.
swan.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, he's like,
Wow.
no, this used to go on the road. Like people would do. I'm like, I think you're lying to me.
Yeah.
No, I mean I
But-
did the banjo, which is like if you pinch your ball sack and stretch it, it looks like a banjo.
It's so retarded.
And the funny thing is, like, I know you guys are all gonna go home in about 2 hours.
I'm about to
and
go try the banjo, dude.
Tell me the name again.
Skakel's right. It's the banjo. I did the banjo, wristwatch. Oh no, I did 4 characters. I did the banjo, the wristwatch, the apple, and the atomic bomb.
Oh my god.
Because if you are not circumcised, which I am not, if you pull the skin up over your pee-pee head and you hold it real tight and then you let it go, it looks like a mushroom cloud.
Oh my god.
I don't know how I didn't book this gig. But then I saw a black guy walking. I'm like, he gets it. Like, I'm assuming his character is the bamboo stick.
You did one animal, a python.
Yeah, I mean,
They should just bring that back. Jeff Ross presents. What's that show called again?
God.
Dick fun.
Yeah, well, it's on Comedy Central after season 4 roast battle.
Historical dick. What is it called?
I don't know. I was left out of historical roast. I don't know.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
We got
you
1
know.
minute left.
Oh,
Do you
shit.
want to do like a race off or something?
Racist
Oh,
off? Sure.
no.
I'll win. Oh, sorry. But I'm on a cartoon now. I got to be cool with
I
that
could
shit.
be Grizzly Adams on the next season of historical roast battle, maybe.
Perfect.
Well,
Something like that.
I did 5 historical roasts, and they would give me the hardest fucking characters every time. Hitler. He could work a room. You got to give Hitler that.
Oh, he's a great public speaker.
He's a bigger. How'd you like to be the warm-up comic at the Holocaust?
Yeah.
What a good crowd. The crowd just got smaller by the minute. And
Plus, it was for sure it's you who
Yeah.
who
Hey.
opened.
hey, number 785, how you doing? Anyone out of town?
You're from Poland.
Right.
Oh, I know that train.
Yeah.
653. Hey, what's up? You guys dating?
Yeah.
And then they gave me Lenny Bruce, who was like known for just saying the N word. I'm like,
Yeah,
and
That's
then-
all I would have done.
Typecasting.
But then I got, I think Schwarzenegger, which was a little easier. And then,
Yeah.
like, so, but I mean, I guess it's doing well on Netflix. I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? Welcome to Hollywood. Create your own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create a cartoon called The Jams or something. It's gonna be do some voiceover.
The peanut
Not
butter. And so on Adult Swim's line, it will be peanut butter and. Just it's peanut butter and then jellies, man. Sunday nights, midnight. I'm Barry Jelly. Yeah.
Check it out.
Well,
And your
thanks,
podcast,
Earl.
too.
Oh yeah, my podcast is Inappropriate Earl. You know, I got kicked off the iTunes charts for a music violation. So yeah, I think some comic. I had permission for the one song I used, but the Apple podcast is not very helpful when.
Yeah.
It's just like they said they did 2 investigations and nothing was wrong, but we don't manipulate the charts. I'm like, I'm not asking you to put me ahead of Rogan, just put me where I was.
Yeah.
So it's called Inappropriate Earl on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud, and I love you guys.
Oh, we'll get you back up to the
Thank
top
you.
spot.
Yeah.
This
Well-
appearance is gonna do it for you, I think.
Well, I know you can pay someone in Bangladesh to hack you where I am. Someone gave me a site. I'm like, I don't want fake fucking followers, but
We have real Bangladeshi followers. They
Yeah.
love us.
no, there's some website where all these people in Bangladesh can like hack into the iTunes charts, but you know, I haven't gone that low yet. Yeah,
You don't need
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I do need it.
I need to sell off some of my Twitter followers. Does anybody want to buy them?
Can I say one thing real fast?
Absolutely.
So I did Danish and O'Neill's podcast, and I jokingly said at the end, "Hey, if you send me $10 on PayPal, that's Skakel at AOL. I'll send you my dick pic." The next day, I got like 12 requests,
Jesus.
all from dudes
Of course.
saying, "Hey, I'm not gay, but I'd love to see the hog." So that's Skakel at AOL. I kept all the money too.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Awesome.
Thanks, Earl.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Love
you
you.
guys. Love you guys. Rose in the
Contra.
house. Tip Rose at the bar.
Yeah. Thanks.
Tip me too. If you just see me, give me some money. I'm lonely. Just talk to me for a minute.
When's this
Just give me an idea. I'm just gonna.
You guys put it out like.
Probably not this Friday, but
Okay,
next,
let me know.
but next Friday.
We're actually a week ahead all of a sudden. So.
Yeah, we have to put up our Matt Dillon interview this Friday.
What happened to him?
He moved to
He went
not
to
Saudi
Canada
Arabia.
and then
United
Arab
Emirates.
Emirates.
Yeah, so he's doing shows there.
He's doing like expat shows out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, looks like a pretty good deal.
It
Yeah.
looks really cool.
Oh, there's money over there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely money.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to perform that.
I would just for the experience to say I did it.
Well, you might not be able to pull your dick out.
I don't ever actually take my dick out.